This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I am here with Clark Brothers Investments. Since 2005, they have been helping you get invested and stay invested. I am here with Jason Clark, who is the owner, founder. Jason, thanks for joining us here. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. We're talking about a 1992 graduate from West Point. You went on to serve as a U.S. Army officer. You found yourself interested in the financial services industry, moved into there. You have worked literally on the floor with some of the notable names like that of Goldman Sachs. Share with me how it is that you got involved in this type of industry.
Well, I've always had an interest in finance. And, what I really am interested in is helping people with their education accounts, with their retirement accounts. Truth, honesty, and integrity are important in this industry. And I feel that I have those qualities. And really, it's about helping people. And the money, we in the industry, we talk about money a lot because that's what the industry involves, but it's really about helping people and doing right for their retirement, for their education accounts, and also for the communities that we serve. I think that's also very important. There's a sort of a sea change going on with corporate America right now, and we want to be part of that. We want to be part of the next generation of businesses that are not just about profits to us; it's about people, and that's really important to me.
Wonderful. I mean, quite honestly, I don't think many have the experience of actually being able to trade on the Wall Street floor. Yet you're bringing that Wall Street to Main Street. You're basically understanding what people are going through here. Like you basically say, if Wall Street can't manage your money, then why should they be managing yours? Why do you say that?
Well, because they pretty much all went bankrupt in 2008, and then they turn around and take our money. But hey, that's neither here nor there. I got a little chip on the shoulder about that, but that's good. That motivates you. But we do things differently at Clark Brothers. We follow an investment philosophy that's actually developed by Warren Buffett, one of the richest, not the richest now, but one of the richest people in the world, from investing. And that differs a lot from what Wall Street does. Wall Street wants to time in and out of the market, tell people, well, what we think interest rates are going to do this week, next week, this month, what the market's going to do, what economies are going to do. The Buffett way really doesn't take into consideration any of that because it's not predictable. We just don't know. What we do know is how to value businesses as a self-entity and look at that business as a business that you own, because you are an owner as a stockholder. And that's really the Buffett way. Let the leaders, let the managers of these businesses manage those businesses, and we sort of invest alongside with them, and then hopefully we gain investment gains over a long period of time.
As an individual myself, I think one of the things that there's some fear when it comes to investing. One of the fears is the fact that I know somebody's making money, but many times it's the guy who's setting up the accounts, and instead of me making the money on the end, how do you judge yourself differently? How do you judge your success when it comes to making money for the client?
That's a really good question. What has happened in the industry is sales and marketing has supplanted investment advice. And investing is a results-oriented business. That's just the way it is. It's a numbers business. You either have the numbers at the end of the day or you don't. We happen to have those. That's another reason why we're expanding, hiring, signing up accounts at a very good pace. But I think the answer to your question is, the fear, that's absolutely there. But when you understand something, the fear diminishes. And again, investing is a results-oriented business. These other companies don't have it, we do, and that's basically what differentiates us between everybody else, including most of the guys on Wall Street.
Absolutely. When it comes to investment firms, I hear the word a lot, independent firms. It seems to me it's kind of a loosely used word. What does it mean to be truly independent?
I started this, and I worked for other companies. I worked for Goldman Sachs. I worked for some institutional guys in town, and what I found was, even though they were advertising and marketing this, they really weren't truly independent. They had ties to mutual fund companies. They had ties, deals on the back end. There's some similarities with politics there, right, too? And some of that's okay. I'm not totally against that, but sure, you have to disclose that to the customers. The way we do it at Clark Brothers, we don't have any relationships at all, and I can't say never, but I would assume that I would never do that. No relations with mutual funds, no proprietary products. We simply go out and find the best products and services for our customers. And like I've said before, it's a results-oriented business. Our numbers prove that we do that. Other companies can say it, but they can't prove it and they can't back it up with the numbers.
Wonderful. One of the things that I see unique about you is you're actually not even possessing my funds. Basically, you are set up for the independent investor. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's very correct. We clear through Schwab. which is common in the industry. They have outside advisors where they custodian the funds. So I can never actually physically touch a client's account, the whole Madoff and all that. Then there's no pooled investments. I have no access to that. Only the account person of record and the address of record can ever take money in or out of that account. Now I can access those accounts to do the trades and such, and that's what I do, but I have authorization from my clients.
Excellent. Explain to us what a registered investment advisor is, why that is important, and really what they bring to the table.
Yeah, if you remember back, probably like in the 1980s even, the business was a transaction business where you got commissions, on trades. That's pretty much gone now. There's no 5% commissions that you make, which is good because there was a bias there. You wanted to make trades to make money. Now the way the industry is, it's a flat fee or a percent of the account. So your account goes down, my income goes down. Your account goes up, my income goes up. And I charge a flat 1% across the board on assets that we manage, and that is the best way to align my interests with the clients.
Excellent. I mean, I know one of the traits of a professional that you believe is the fact that they are able to shut out the clutter. Basically, don't listen to the media, don't listen to what's going on, stay focused on what the client needs. Is that something that you strive for every day?
I really do every day, and I still watch CNBC. I like CNBC. It's just a great show. And certainly miss Mark Haynes, the commentator that passed a few years back, because when I first started watching it was him and Maria Bartiromo, and things have changed, but the people on there now, Becky Quick, Joe Kernan, they do a great job. I won't forget Andrew Ross Sorkin, okay? I like him too. But I watch it for content. I'm watching it for a different reason than individual people are watching it. You shouldn't, in my opinion, watch it for stock picks or what the market is doing. Honestly, you're kind of spinning your wheels. I mean, it's good to pay attention and have knowledge. The market's up, the market's down, general things. But in the end, you're far better off, and the evidence supports this, Gary. You're far better off hiring somebody, a professional, that you trust. Trust is the most important. That's competent, that has the track record to manage your money for you. And that's real difficult for a lot of people to do because we are, as Americans, we are very self-reliant, and we're taught to do things ourselves and everything. But this isn't mowing your yard and changing the oil. When you need your engine rebuilt, you take it to a mechanic, a qualified mechanic. When you need surgery, you go to the surgeon. When you have trouble with the law, say you've been arrested for something that you can't defend, or your kid's been arrested for, a very serious crime, you get a really good lawyer to defend that person. But for whatever reason, think professional athletics, Michael Jordan, Peyton Manning. No part-timer or amateur is going to go out on the football field and beat these guys. You might do it one time, or you might get something lucky one time, and that's true, but it's the same for investing. But in this industry, it's very interesting because people think they can outperform the best guys in the business. But in no other profession is that true. And it's not true in investing. It's not true at all. But people think that. So what we like to do at Clark Brothers, one of my favorite things to talk about, don't get me going here, I'll talk about this all day long, is empowering, educating, informing, and empowering people with that message. Not the message of you can do this yourself and don't trust anybody. That's not the message here. The message is this is a profession that requires expertise and skill at the level of a surgeon or a lawyer or a business person or a professional athlete. Let the best people in the industry help you. And the way to do that is to listen to them and take their advice. Because it's just like any other profession. No one would ever try to, go out and operate on somebody, a loved one or their kid. But yet, in investing, like I said, they do that. And there's reasons for that. A couple of reasons might be, just to kind of keep going on this, is, look at how we're educated, how we are informed. Cable, the internet, and then, really cocktail, kind of cocktail parties and those kinds of things, social engagements. And that's really probably not the way you should take investment advice. You need to take it from a very, seasoned professional that has a track record.
Absolutely. I mean, we get on the internet and basically we go, I can study how you do an operation on a dog. I can look at it, I can watch YouTube, but I think if I try to operate on that dog, there might be loss of life definitely that happens. In this way, we're talking about loss of an investment, which is not a good thing. Let's educate the viewers a little bit on some of the details of the products that you do offer. Let's talk first of all, mutual funds. I mean, why are some the best and some not so?
It's a good question. I don't know if I know entirely the answer. There are, and certainly no rule is applicable across the board all the time. But in general, the best people in the business are deep value investors. In other words, they don't pay attention to the noise. They don't pay attention to things they can't control. They look at companies that are undervalued and buy them. A really good example that probably everybody can relate to is most recently is Facebook. You know, there was a lot of hype around this company. They came out, they went public at, I think, $38, went to $45 that day, and then it traded all the way down to $19, $20. And they said, well, they don't have a mobile strategy. I'm pretty sure that the founder, Mark Zuckerberg, and all of his executives at Facebook, all the engineers that work there, know more than the commentators and the analysts that are sitting in Wall Street are talking on CNBC. But yet, that's where we get the information from. And we should be getting the information from investment theories, investment philosophies, professional investment people who are good at what they do. There's the bottom half and then there's the top tier. At Clark Brothers, we have the numbers to say we are one of the top in the state of Colorado and the country. And we could prove that, and we could back that up with the numbers. But back to that goes back to the investment philosophy. Okay, so the investment philosophy of the Buffett way, looking at the companies, valuing those companies, and really ignoring everything else because it really doesn't matter. And entrusting in the leadership and the management team at Facebook or whatever company it could be, that they are more able to manage a social media company than I am.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the words I hear quite often with you is trust, trustworthy. We're talking about 100% transparency. Is this the reason that you invoice your clients directly instead of going through their accounts?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But the other reason is it also allows money that it's in your retirement or education accounts to grow, continue to grow, tax deferred into the life cycle of that investment. So we're not taking the money out of that. This is actually something that Clark Brothers and myself being Clark Brothers, we came up with. Because we noticed, well, if you have, let's say you have $100,000 in an IRA and your investment advisor is charging 1%, that 1% is coming out of that account. You should leave that money in there, right, because it's a tax advantage account. Let that grow to your retirement until your education funds are needed, and pay us separately over here out of your checking account. So we're not debiting the retirement and the education accounts.
Excellent. Obviously, you have many years of experience you bring to the table here. You yourself have learned probably from Wall Street. You've also learned from the firms that you've worked with. But one of the main, really, philosophies, theories that you work with is that of Warren Buffett. Why has that been a real enlightenment for you?
This is an easy question because it works the best. You don't get a net worth of, whatever it is today, approximate a lot, 70, 75 billion through investing. That's what he does. It's not like Jeff Bezos, that's Amazon, that's, selling books and things online, or somebody that is a manufacturer or something. He is an investor. And so why wouldn't you follow the advice of the most successful investor ever and one that is the wealthiest in the world right now? So if you look, again, you look at different, you can look at indexing, you can look at trading, you can look at momentum investing. Nothing compares, nothing is even close to value investing. Over time, not over a month or two or a year, but over 3, 5, 7, 10, 20 years, a lifetime, it performs the best by far.
So regardless of the volatility of the market, we're talking about pretty much why you go with get invested, stay invested. I mean, that really is the theory right there. Like you said, it comes back really to what you said in the beginning there, which is when we think of money, when we think of finance, we think of numbers. Yet, this is a people business. I mean, like you say, basically people run businesses, not the numbers. You're building your company off of pillars like things of loyalty, trustworthy, long-standing, lifetime, really, relationships.
Absolutely, and certainly I am not perfect. None of us are, and I make mistakes all the time. And, one thing that the investment industry will teach you, especially traders, is, and the best traders, and I'm not a trader, but the traders on Wall Street, they serve a purpose, absolutely, because it's a big system, and somebody has to move the parts around, and that's basically what traders do. You have to be able to admit your errors and admit your mistakes and just say, every morning I get up and I say, I don't know anything. What happened yesterday is new day today. What are we missing? What's out there? But, really, it's a numbers business. And so we get caught up in the numbers of it. And people want to talk about, well, I made this money and I made that money. But, I mean, for me, I don't even charge. We do charge 1%. That's what we advertise. But we also take into consideration other people's situation, and I've had clients. I'd rather help people than really make a buck for me. And this might be like something that I say, well, it's just a sales pitch or a marketing pitch. Ask my customers. Please do.
Absolutely.
Ask my customers or ask me. I'll show you the invoices. I'll show you that I don't dime people for everything. I do a lot of work for free, for family, for friends, and I want to do that. Some people might say, oh, that's not a business, and you're not. No, I disagree. You know, I love what I do. I think, you know, that will come across in the interview here, and you know that I love what I do, and you know the whole politics thing, and I like that too, but not as much as I like investing. And so I would do this for free, really, but I have a business and I have to charge for it, otherwise I'm not a business. So, you know, I really do though. I get much more satisfaction and nobility out of seeing someone's kid, they go to college and it's paid for, and they don't have to worry about that, and they've saved and done things right, their retirement is secure, they haven't been ripped off. We don't talk about that hardly at all, but investment scams all the time happen in this industry, you know, and we're very conservative compared to most other investment companies. I mean, we do mutual funds, ETFs, and stocks. This is pretty, you know, utilities, Ford, Facebook, Coke, Disney. These are big conglomerates, and for the most part, they're pretty, you know, pretty boring, you know, conservative investments.
Based on your track record, your passion basically definitely comes through the fact that you do judge yourself based on the money that's made for your clients, which is great. Someone out there who's never invested before, basically they want to move their funds to someone they can trust. What is the process? Does it start with a consultation? How does that work?
That's a great question too. It's really very, very simple, because what we do is we advertise our numbers, and so you put them side by side, and some accounts we're not going to get, and we know that we don't get. No salesperson or business person gets every account, but what we do is we do the comparison side by side. We let the people choose, and then we also sell the philosophy. Like I said, the Buffett philosophy, our philosophy. You know, it's a lifetime. We're you know, it's kind of a marriage here. You know, you should be with me for your entire life. That's really my time horizon. It's not a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. It's your lifetime. You know, we're attached at the hip. It's just like a marriage, and that's very important, because then, you know, when things aren't going our way, we know our clients, they know us, and they know, you know what, these guys are going to give us the best, most trustworthy advice that they possibly can. Again, we're not always going to be right. We're going to be wrong a lot. Everybody in the investment industry is, including Warren Buffett. But then once the customer decides to open an account, it's all done through Schwab online. And then we take the account, and then we'll give a review, look in to see what they have going, or if they don't have anything going, review with them how to get started. But most of the time they have something going, you know, 401k and a leftover 401k, an IRA, an account here, an account there. We consolidate those at Schwab for them, and then we give them an analysis. You know, this is what we would do. This is why we would do it. Your account's not performing. Here's what we suggest. And 9 times out of 10, once we get to that point, people trust us and they want us to make those decisions for them. And then after that, it's just me, you know, physically going in and, you know, placing those investments in those trades and managing that portfolio, you know, going forward.
One of the important numbers that I want people to end with is understanding net investment returns, because quite honestly, that's the money that ends up back in my pocket. How do you rank? How does your company rank when it comes to that?
I tell you, a little side note here. Obviously, Gary has done above and beyond by looking at the website, researching Clark Brothers before he got here, and that is so cool that you have taken the time to be a professional and show up prepared. And these questions are excellent. I couldn't come up with better questions. Most people don't know this, and it's a very difficult calculation. You have risk, you have costs, fees, you have taxes, and then you have the opportunity cost. Most people don't understand the opportunity cost, so I'll just kind of hit on that. Everybody understands taxes. Sure. The opportunity cost is, so if you're trading, or if you're in an index fund, and you say you have $1 million, and the index fund, you know, your index S&P is up 30%, that's $300,000, right? Right. You got to pay tax on that. And so that money, that's money going out. Depending on your tax bracket, it's going to change. Right. And I'm not a CPA. I don't want to be a CPA. But that money's going out the door. So that money's not staying in your account and growing. So with the Warren Buffett way, you know, everybody knows, you know, buy and hold, get invested, stay invested. We don't incur a lot of the trading costs, a lot of the fees, a very little tax bill, not much opportunity cost because we're buying and holding. So that money's not leaving, and for the other reasons mentioned, and then risk. You know, the last part is risk. We're not doing derivatives. We never have and never will. I can say that for sure. I never have and I never will do penny stocks. It's just not something I'm interested in, and it doesn't work. You know, even the guy from The Wolf of Wall Street, you know, said that in that scene, right? He's like, you know, his wife says something to him, and he's like, well, honey, rich people don't buy penny stocks. And she's like, why? And he kind of is like, oh, man, I'm in a pickle here. But there's a reason for that. You buy great companies, you know, Google, Apple. these are all great companies, and these are companies, especially with the global economy, that dominate the world. We dominate the world, and that's another thing, maybe even a little political tangent, maybe a little bit, but I think a lot of times people just don't see how dominant we are in certain industries, and IT is one of them. There are, Baidu in China, but Google, Apple, Facebook, these companies innovate and dominate every other company from any other country in the world. And when you do that, you obtain the best minds from all over the world, the best, most educated engineers. And that's another reason why you want to invest in these big, solid conglomerates. It's very, very difficult. It does happen to unseat, one of these, massive American companies. Even Amazon. I mean, Walmart's still around. The last time I checked, they said, "Oh no, purpose," and they serve a purpose. And Amazon's good, and they do too. And there's room for more than one in each industry. But it's very, very difficult to compete with these. Why compete with them? Invest with them.
Excellent. I mean, one of the reasons we wanted to come out and do the interview, Jason, is the fact that I wanted to capture your passion. I mean, quite honestly, I know you personally. You have ran for the governor of Colorado. You basically have had your own radio show. Your passion is in educating people, helping people. That passion comes through. Is this still very rewarding for you to go out and do every day?
Every day. When the market's closed, it's like I'm almost depressed. If I go on vacation, I take my phone with me. So I'm very, very blessed and very fortunate. I'm a religious person, maybe not as much as some people, but I'm blessed by God to do this. I really am. Every day it's fun, it's challenging. And what I've done recently, more to answer your question, is we've opened an office, we've got some salespeople, we have a franchise model, we're going to try to build out Colorado and then go across the country. And my vision is, and this is probably one of the most important things of this interview, my vision is to educate, inform, and empower, teach every individual investor in the world the Warren Buffett way of investing. And maybe one day he sees this, maybe one day he recognizes what I'm doing, but he was my mentor. My dad is my mentor in life. As a father should be. But he is my mentor as far as finance, investing. I mean, I've learned so much from him. I'd love to meet him someday, that's a difficult proposition, but and it's just been a great journey. And I stuck to my guns through the tech bubble, through the finance bubble, all these things, and we've come out pretty good, pretty good for our clients. Not I can't say perfect, but we're right there with some of the best in the industry. And so we're building out the business side of Clark Brothers with the franchise model. Again, the vision is to teach the Buffett way to every individual investor in the world. And right now, as we speak, Gary, there isn't a single firm in the country that's doing that. We'd like to be the first.
Wow, you basically have lived your life pretty much like your philosophy of investing, which is through the ups and downs. Basically, in the end, you're still there, coming forward, a lot of passion out there, very exciting. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is his website. On the website, take a look, learn a little bit more about the philosophy of this company. Understand the services, the fees, everything they put right there for you. Simple as basically setting up a consultation. He can find out what it is you're looking for. We're talking about a gentleman who basically brings quite a bit of experience to the table. He is able to really solve your problems for you, basically through innovative ways, thinking outside of the box, yet at the same time very traditional to stand the test of time. This is Clark Brothers that began back in 2005. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.